On a cold December morning in 2010, a police officer was searching for a missing woman near the dunes of Gilgo Beach, Long Island. He wasn't expecting what he would find. Instead of the missing woman, he discovered something far worse remains. A body, carefully wrapped in burlap, discarded in the brush. And that was just the beginning. What followed was the unearthing of a dark and disturbing truth. Gilgo Beach wasn't just a stretch of sand on Long Island's South Shore. It was a dumping ground, graveyard. For women, all young, all involved in sex work. All missing between 2007 and 2010. Their bodies were found within days of each other, just off Ocean Parkway. As police continued searching, the body count grew. 11 sets of human remains would eventually be discovered in the area. Some were linked, some were mysteries on their own. One was a toddler, another a man dressed in women's clothing. The media called him the Gilgo Beach Killer. Others dubbed him the Long Island serial killer. But whoever he was invisible, untouchable, and terrifyingly patient. The entire case had begun with the disappearance of Shannan Gilbert, a 24-year-old escort who vanished after a frantic 911 call on May 1, 2010. She claimed someone was chasing her. She ran through the neighborhood of Oak Beach, knocking on doors, screaming for help, then disappeared. It would take over a year before her remains were found in the marsh, just a few miles from where the first bodies had been uncovered. Her death was officially ruled accidental by some, but her family and many others believe she was the killer's first known victim. For years, the case went cold. Theories circulated. Profilers suggested the killer was organized, intelligent, and perhaps even local. But there were no arrests, no major leads. Then, in 2022, a new task force formed. Technology had advanced. Cell phone records were reanalyzed. DNA was tested again. One name began to rise above the rest. Rex Heuermann, an architect from Massapequa Park, living just miles from where the victims had been found. Married, a father, quiet, invisible just like the killer was thought to be. Police tracked burner phone data, linked vehicle descriptions, even DNA from a discarded pizza crust. And it all pointed to him. In July 2023, Rex Heuermann was arrested and charged with the murders of 3 of the Gilgo 4, Amber Costello, Megan Waterman, and Melissa Barthelemy. A 4th charge was added later. Inside his home, police discovered a disturbing arsenal. Hundreds of weapons, fake IDs, and chilling searches related to torture and sadism. To neighbors, he seemed normal, quiet, maybe a little strange. But no one imagined that a suspected serial killer was living just down the street. Now, as Heuermann sits in jail awaiting trial, questions still linger. Was he the only one involved? What about the other victims whose cases remain unsolved? And what really happened to Shannan Gilbert that night in Oak Beach? The Gilgo Beach case is far from over. Even with an arrest, the mystery still lingers like the mist over the dunes. Silent, ominous, waiting. Because sometimes, the most terrifying monsters don't live in shadows. They live right next door,